let me start off by saying that I am a very typical teenager. I go to biotechnology high school. I'm in 10th grade. I have very little real-world experience. But from the experience that I do have, I can say that teenagers do have it hard with struggling things like sports and school and social life. It's not an easy life, and it can be very stressful at times. So, if all of us in here have some sort of pressure pushing us down, what's keeping us from collapsing? Well, I have my reason. And my reason is that I have a secret weapon. My secret weapon is dance. Currently, I do this classical Indian form of dance, which is called Kuchipudi. And Kuchipudi tells the stories of Hindu gods and their lives. It's a balance of force and rhythm and grace. And I have learned so much from this dance form. But the reason that dance is my secret weapon is that it's my happy place. Whenever I'm in my dance class, my entire focus is on what I'm doing. It's on my movements, it's on my expressions, it's on what I'm trying to convey. And it doesn't give me time to worry about outside stress or outside struggles. And dance became this happy place for me. And I encourage you to all find your happy place, whether it's a book or it's an activity like volunteering, or it's a place, because your happiness and your happy place will give you a relief from all this outside struggle that you're facing. And currently, there aren't many titles I can give myself, but I feel very strongly that a dancer is one of them. But let me tell you, it wasn't always this way. When I was very little, I first started dancing. And I used to do Bollywood, and I also used to do another classical form of dance, which is called Bharatanatyam. And over time, I switched Bollywood teachers, and I started learning Kuchipudi. I still remember my very first day of Kuchipudi class. I had to get up at 6 a.m., and I was not used to getting up that early, and I was not happy about it. And I would not have gone to the class if it wasn't for my mom, who had forced me to go. But I went to the class, I met my teacher, I learned a few stuff, I learned a few steps, and I came home, and I crashed on the sofa, and I slept for about 5 hours because I was not used to getting up that early. So for the next few weeks, I continued going to the class. I went, I learned some stuff, and I came back. I didn't feel a connection to it. I liked going, sure, I liked going, but there was no love there. There was no passion. I was just going because it gave me something to do. Now, over the next year, it gets harder. Like anything would naturally tend to get difficult. And at this point, I start hating to go to class because I need to practice, I need to put a lot more effort into this, and without putting that much effort, I wasn't getting any better, and that made me really demotivated. So I start not liking going to class, and I even pretend to be asleep in the mornings, so by the time I get up, it's too late to go to class, and I can't go, and I probably shouldn't have said that out loud because my parents are here, but that's okay. So, for the next few years, I completely lost that even small bit of likeness that I had. But then there is a change. I go to see my first Ranga Pravesam. A Ranga Pravesam is a classical Indian dance graduation for Kuchipudi. And in a Ranga Pravesam, although it is a graduation, it's more of an ending of the basics, and you now take the title of being a performer, and you have that ability to perform on stage. And I don't know what it was about what I was watching, but maybe it was the joy on her face, or the glow, or the rhythm and the beat and the music and everything combined. But watching that dance performance made me realize something. It made me realize that I wanted to be up on that stage, that that was going to be me someday. So, for the next few years, I worked towards it. And I start practicing more, and I put a lot more effort into it. And now I'm 15, and it's the summer before 9th grade, My teacher comes up to me and she says, "I think you're ready. Do you want to do your rangapueso?" And I'm like, of course. Why would I want to do it? But the thing is, this thing costs a lot of money. So for the next few weeks, we were debating, should I do it, should I not? And it's the night before we were going to make our final decision. And that's when it finally hit me. I might not actually do my rangapueso. I might not actually get there, and that might never be me on that stage. And it scared me so much that I realized how much I actually began to love dance. And I found the key, and I opened the door to whatever passion was hiding behind it. And I began to realize how much dance meant to me. And a year later, I did do my rangapueso. And the reason I told you all this long-winded story was so you can see the impact that dance had on my life, and how it not only gave me a happy place, but it gave me motivation, and it gave me a reason to do the things that I do. And it shaped my life so much. But there's another very big reason why dance is so important to me. I am a half Indian, half American growing up in the United States, and my childhood is very different from the ones both of my parents had growing up in South India. And of course, there's a lot of culturally different things, like the religion, and there's also a lot of socially different things. But every time I go to India over the summer, I imagine what my life would have been like if I had lived there my entire life. I think about climbing mango trees or running around little stores lined up next to each other, collecting bindis and little marigold cookies. And it makes me realize how much I miss my culture and I miss being a part of that life. But dance gave me that culture. It not only taught me about religion, but it taught me about all the little things that Indians do. And it made me be a part of a community that also wants to be a part of that culture. But alas, dance is a big part of my life for a very big other reason. And this reason may be one of the most important ones of them all. Dance is not only about telling stories of Hindu gods, it is also about telling other different types of stories. So last summer, my dance teacher did a production called Nirbhayam. Now this production featured several different women who had all faced some form of domestic violence, abuse, or rape. And she performed it here in the US with our seniors, and then she performed it in India several times. And it showed the connections that these women had and how they helped each other and how they supported each other. And as much as the impact that it had here, it had about 10 times of the impact there, because these topics aren't as openly discussed there, and it helped the people there see that this is not something you have to face alone. So dance made me realize that I don't need to keep inside of me the things that I'm too afraid to say. I can convey them with my emotions. I can convey them through my dance. And as much as Kuchipudi gave me my happy place and it gave me my culture, it now gives me a voice. And I can use that voice to tell people things that I'm not happy with, or tell stories that I want to share with the world. And I encourage all of you to find your happy place, because it will not only keep you away from the stress, but it'll give you something to push yourself. It'll give you something to motivate yourself. Dance has become my place of joy, and it always will be. Thank you.